Hey, hello, good evening. Today is the 21st of July 2022, nearly 10 p.m. in the evening. In the last couple of vlogs from last week, I talked a lot about my mental instability, but also about the afterlife, God, and reincarnation. And I think I did pretty well with that. I really liked the vlogs, and I watched them several times already. Yeah, I like where this is going to. So today I want to talk about my books again. I have five, including, yeah, the latest one, New Milestones. And I was a bit amazed actually, because as you can see, it's pretty a thick book, maybe even double the size of my other book about the vlogs. So I'm really curious where do I go to with this book, and if people like it, of course. It is with excerpts from my diary, but also many things about the mind and the soul and the afterlife and reincarnation. Yeah, very happy, very happy. So I want to read out loud again, just a small piece from every book, and then we'll see. Alrighty. Okay. I think this is the second, maybe the third time I'm talking about my books, but it are different pieces. And the last time I did that was a while ago, actually, maybe even in September. I don't know. I'm not sure. Even kijken. Now, let's start with my Psychosis in 2005. And that's from my first book, Milestones. So here it goes. During the summer of 2005, I got psychotic again. This time, it was for real. In my mind, fantasy and reality got mixed up together, and because of that, I did many weird things. One day, I had a car from a friend and drove around with it after voices told me I could. Without noticing, I kept his car for several days. Since I was time traveling, dimensions were woven together and fantasy and reality disappeared. I lived in the past, present, and future, and everyone was after me. I was the center of it all. I had thoughts that there would be a war and that everything would be destroyed. During that time, I had several stories woven together and believed in that. Every day a few, which were combined. Everything I'd ever read or saw was in it. Fantasy from books, movies, music, people I knew. Computer games came to life, and I was sucked into that. In different dimensions, like UFOs, Jedis from Star Wars passed by. My reality changed, and I lived in a robotic world with electromagnetic energies and street signs which could read my mind through my eyes. In my reality of that moment, I saw spirits from people passing by. I walked naked outside. I saw dinosaurs, Christ, spaceships, castles, and many other things. The main theme was war. I saw images of people passing by who were talking to me. Even the TV talked to me. In this way, I drove around in a Trent's car for several days, in which I luckily didn't cause any accidents. At one moment, I also thought that I could drive through a truck, like Knight Rider, the series. Through dimensions, I could travel through the truck. I saw people shouting against me to do so. Without noticing, I was on the run, far removed from reality at that moment, and I believed in an upside down world. Green light was red, sweater on was sweater off, door open was door closed in another dimension. But being at home, I even drank shampoo and things like that, because it was good for me. Many other things happened, but I can't recall everything. I tried to predict the future big time. That was when I was really down and out in a big psychotic event. I think the biggest I ever had. It is woven through time, and that is really strange, and that is really weird and uh, frightening, really frightening. Yeah. And now we are many years ahead, and it is getting better with me. And I'm grateful that I made these books actually, because then I have something to travel back with, because I'm losing my psychotic mind in a way. But before this, it was every day, 24/7. I also made an ECG and an MRI scan back then in the hospital in Amsterdam. And I remember that they showed me my brains on the screen, and it was like it shrunk with at least 40%. It were really small areas. But the weird thing was that I was mad. My mind went on for 24/7. So I'm thinking, that you're losing touch of the mind. and more in touch with the afterlife, the afterlife. And that's really interesting. Past lives and feelings and thoughts. That's really strange. So, then the second book, that is called Traveling Whitey. And Whitey means God, just God or Allah or Yahweh, another name from it. And this book is with poetry. So let's see if we can find a nice one. No rush. About the medium I went to, where I will go to in September or maybe even in October for the second time. Really interesting. Okay, shaking hands with future lives. Sometimes you have deep thoughts about things. Who are you? Where do you come from? And where are we going to when passing over? Some are afraid of dying or are heavily in tears when someone passes over. It's not the end, just a small step. Before learning about the new maps we all will get, some individual, some collective. We all have to make good for past lives. It's not only making good, of course. Our souls will travel higher in the spheres of light and will project that in the love on earth. So eventually, it will become heaven on earth. The darker spheres will be closed then, and people who live there can't reincarnate to earth again. No more wars and other bad things will ever come to earth again. Family, friends will meet again in the afterlife and future reincarnations on earth and beyond, growing higher in new knowledge of spirituality. New maps and roads for everyone. Letting go of time and the labyrinths. Universal love is the highest love there is. All of the other things are personal or collective, from events from past lives. New stories about these past lives will pop up eventually, through which you will understand yourself better. Then letting go of these things, within the love of God or Whitey. You're moving in between lives, growing higher in universal love. The ocean of love is everywhere. We breathe it, we swim in it, we walk on it, and we think and feel it. Just a small piece of all the beautiful things we will encounter in the future. It's not just one life you have. You had many lives, and you will get many lives. On Earth, the afterlife, and on new planets eventually. Letting go of past lives, shaking hands with future lives, new visions from the places we'll visit in between. The love from your inner core will mirror itself with the highest spheres of the Earth. And the other way around. When bad things happen in life, you can look at it and let it go, mostly from a darker past lives. You have a choice to change and do other things instead. Don't do bad things which can appear in society. It's temporarily. The love of God is the biggest there is. Even if society approves of it, it isn't always the right choice. Reason and maturity, evolving in spirituality, letting go of zeitgeist. Your life flows by with all the things you did in your life. Are you satisfied? Look at that. I really like the poems I made. I even put them online and deleted most of them again because I was participating in a contest and I wasn't allowed. It needed to be first published in a way. But I did get some good reviews on Cosmo Funnel, for instance. I participated in a contest and I was nominated 2 times for Poem of the Month. Eventually I didn't win, but that doesn't matter. It is more, the people liked it. And on these poems, I had more than 1,000 views or so. So that was pretty cool, very, very nice. Okay, the other book, that's the Pharaohs Guiding. Like I told you in my last vlogs, it did really well. 183 books from Pharaohs Guiding I gave away for free. It's a small book, but I do like it. And it's also with poetry and with some artwork in it. Mostly pastel from 2019. Poetry and art about the story. Because I already told the poem, I will start with a small story. It's a bit about, visiting a museum, about drawing, and other things. Over here, walking through the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. That's pretty cool. Okay, a small piece from the first page. I'm moving through time. I saw myself drown within fantasy of the world. A scene. How long did it last? Am I participating in a mess we are in? A war deludes you. What is important? Anxiety controls most of the hungry people. A bullet is an easy way out. To shoot another person or to commit suicide. What is control? Is it necessary? Doing bad things you have to make good for in future lives. A movie passes by. Darkness darker than the night. Where am I? Can I understand the situation I'm in? Like a nightmare haunting you day after day. Time fades away. Soon I will be ready. I'm moving up the stairs to higher grounds, looking down in foggy places of the past. I had a good life. I'm satisfied. From there on, love will shine in every future life. Letting go of the frames of my camera, black and white shots of another time. Color changes everything. Closer to home, more easy to move in between energies of love. Personality and character makes you feel alive. A good person dying and being reborn again, remembered for everything he or she did. Great souls will be remembered, even if it takes many lives to understand. Ahead of time, individual thoughts to create collective thoughts, lending a hand to understand, being pulled up. Some things had its time in the past. They won't be needed anymore. Looking many steps ahead, like playing a game of chess. How deep concentrating are you? Is each step a life? Or a thought in many choices you have within one life? A day in a year, a cycle, working on progress, sleeping to understand and to forget. Stars shine from the past before you were born, a path we all took. We are all reincarnated souls. Different point of views. Don't get lost though. Planets and stars everywhere. Invisible paths so close. The gates will open in time with bigger cycles for a better understanding. Moving from planet to planet for a long time already. Moving from the afterlife to the earth for many years without knowing about it. It's our home for now, living between two worlds. And that's exactly what I talked about the other day. Living between two worlds. And when thinking about it, also being psychotic and schizophrenic, that you're hearing voices and things like that, or that you're delusional, losing track, you can pinpoint that down, and in the future, it will be reality. So psychosis, in my opinion, will disappear eventually because we learn about the afterlife and we are thinking within two worlds in a way. I think that's beautiful. It really is magnificent. We are living in interesting times. Technologies make our lives better. Moving so fast forward, we can lose ourselves sometimes. That's also true. But I would say check out the books. You can always order them. Sometimes I have a free promotion as well. Like I said, I gave more than 300 books away, so that's cool. Alrighty, the other one, the vlogs from 2019. Yeah, I just thought. Let me see. I don't know what I want to talk about. It's about my diary, it is about the afterlife and reincarnation. I keep on talking about these things because I really think it's the last outcome. We all have thoughts about the afterlife and things like that, about dying. But is it the end? And that's what I've learned from my psychosis, because when being psychotic, it's sort of a reality, but it's fake reality. You need to learn about the afterlife big time. And I think that's really beautiful. Okay, I'm still psychotic, I guess. And this is from beginning of September 2019. I'm still psychotic, I guess. You forget about certain things eventually. First, I couldn't let go of the turmoil and being delusional all the time, hallucinating a lot. Because of that, I got stuck inside labyrinths for eternities, never able to let go. Cycles passed by, being alone mostly. That isn't a bad thing eventually. Learning yourself the best, learning about the afterlife, that it's really there. You can lose yourself a lot. What is the inner core? Within yourself and within life after death. Where do your feelings and thoughts go to? In what sort of energy will you stay? To be seen or not to be seen? Even on earth, you can't see everything. That doesn't mean that it's not there. Until we learn about it, then it's really there. That will happen with the afterlife as well. Like a game from 8-bit upwards to 16-bit, 32-bit, and so on. Nowadays, it's so realistic. But back in the day, we couldn't know about that. Your own inner feelings will go deep. We will learn about these things eventually, and I think that's a blessing. It is a totally new world where we will live in, all for the best, not one leaving behind. We'll all move to the higher spheres to be attracted to new planets eventually far in the universe. We shall learn about many things from the afterlife, but also our reincarnations are moving from one life to another. Looking back on these times and move forward in universal love, letting the dark places of your past lives go, welcoming the good lives back in yourself, through which you can grow higher in the spheres of light. I like it. Maybe another piece, a bit further ahead of time. 17 October 2019. Too deep within a thought, this time not in madness. I can look at the place I'm staying in, looking at further steps in a good feeling, not getting lost within mazes, reflecting itself in flashing lights of the unknown. Sometimes you're lost within these feelings, too much on the surface, not able to move freely, moving from frame to frame. What are the gradations of your mind? It is difficult to explain sometimes where I'm in. Anyways, I'm feeling at ease at the moment, and that is different than normal. How to relax, how to feel normal in a way. The mind can do weird tricks with itself. You do need to learn about these fantasies to see what reality is. Learning about God, the afterlife, and reincarnation are things you do need to know. You can never get lost again. Letting go of things and move on. Also, the things that can't be seen yet. Another gradation into the unknown. This time in great feelings, though. You will live on in the universal love for eternity, behind the materialistic worlds of our universe. Back and forth to be reborn again and growing higher in the 7 cosmic degrees. That's also a very nice piece. And then, ta-da! Like I said, I'm very happy with this book. I'm, let me see, halfway with reading it. And as you can see, some artwork inside of it. A bit smaller pictures because the file was too large. So I compromised the pictures. And because of that, they are a bit smaller. But that's okay. That doesn't really matter. Let me see. Alrighty. New Milestones 2022, episode 1. Why not? I want to start the new year with a piece about the thoughts that surrounded me a lot. Gradations. Who are you within yourself? Can you follow your main goals in life? You have to be someone. Can you interact your inside with the outside world? We are all different. Also, your own inner thoughts interact with your thoughts. Thoughts inside boxes. Sometimes these boxes divide itself. You project that on reality. But when losing yourself big time, what is it you have to do? Are you in silence with your inner thoughts? Projecting on different outcomes. The sad thoughts and locked up emotions grow bigger. What is reality? What is your inner core? On school, on work, on nothing? What if there are only sad thoughts, long time frames, relations? For how long? Who are you then? Building on top of these rocks, to see God in an ocean of love. The inner core within madness will disappear. You can't show him your grief. A serious interaction, like a good conversation, a good hug. No jealousy and other weird things. Forever. Then you can learn about the gradations again, but in a new light. You interact with God. There are different stories about that. No more fear and pain. Reincarnations follow. It's really there, the afterlife. Better and bigger than we all think. The more you let go, within time you will heal yourself. Gradations again. Shedding some light in the darker parts. Getting up. You have to start somewhere. The road will eventually be a normal path within your life. The psychosis roared, but that has been a while ago. You moved many miles through the spiritual worlds. Don't do bad things. You will regret that. It are normal things we all think and feel about. Talk about your inner worlds. That is a guiding for yourself, but also for other people. Not stuck in time frames you hate. You have to be something. Don't get lost. Don't get stuck. Look at the bigger picture. Then you can let go the smaller things that are flowing around. Telepathy, it does exist. You lose your inner core when thinking about that. Not always in the right way. Dark clouds rolled in. I had to start all over. Inner feelings, inner thoughts, images passing by, maps open up, sometimes naked. A naked soul is deeper in feelings than being naked outside. You have to learn about that. In that way, you make better decisions. We are all connected. People come and go to the afterlife and back on earth again. That are gradations as well. It's bigger than you think. It's more beautiful than you think. Getting in the water, learning the ways of water, then you can see in feelings that you've grown bigger. The eternities that were are gone. Not inside the middle of fantasy anymore. You may show yourself as a new you. You may be happy again. Learning about the turmoil of life, that is not necessary. That was you. It's gone. The more you see new possibilities, the closer to God you will become. You need maps for that, inside and outside. You need to learn your inner core all over again. You may fail. That isn't the end of the world. Travel ahead on the road, fantasy within fantasy. What is the bigger box? Can you let go? Can you embrace it? A new world outside there, and not what you think it's at the moment. Instead of letting your inner feelings go inside these weird thoughts, I'm still not there yet. But I'm getting there. And I will continue with talking about that in this book. It's a bit more with the diary and that sort of things. It's a bit repeating myself as well, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Because when looking my YouTube vlogs online, it's not that you watch all of them, you know. You just watch a couple of them, and then I'm talking about certain things. And to have a red line through my lives and stories I want to talk about. I'm very enthusiastic. So, like I said, I'm participating in a contest. So, if you want to, I would say read them, and if possible, to give me a star and or a comment. Alrighty, 21 minutes. That means that this is the story for today. I would say have a really, really great week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.